Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this Cascade card. That's how it would stand on the shelf. Obviously that just comes backwards and forwards. It's really a beautiful design of card. It's not my idea. I put on the back here somewhere where you could stamp another greeting or stamp another sentiment or write your greeting. The colour is Marina Mist, which is one of our retired colours now, but I will be using all current stock for the card that I'm going to be making for you now. So I'm going to stand that up in front of me, and the card pieces that we're going to be using, Tranquil Tide, and this measures 9 inches by 12 inches. Can't get it all in there. I haven't done metric measurements. I did start, but when it came to cutting the designer series paper, I couldn't get it to work out, so I decided to leave it. So 9 inches by 12 inches. You will need 2 pieces of Whisper White that are approximately 3 inches by 3 inches. And for all the embellishments, you will need about 10 pieces that size, which is about 2 inches by 1 inch, and 5 pieces that are about that size, which is 1 inch by 1 3/4 inches. I've picked those out just to show you that this is brilliant for using up your scraps. And you need a piece of designer series paper, and this is from Tranquil Textures, and this should measure 8 3/4 inches by 11 3/4 inches. And I've chosen this sheet because back and front are quite similar, and what will happen with this is, as on this one I have the writing on every alternate here, and then I've got the dots on the ones in between. That's what's going to happen here if I've done my calculations right, because I think to get it all one design you would need to do 2 pieces the same. No, you'd need to flip one over, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that what's going to happen is this is going to be on half of the front pieces, and that's going to be on the other half of front pieces, because those two go together nicely, and they both go together really nicely with Tranquil Tide as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I have done all of my little leafy bits and the flowers beforehand, because there's so many of them. There were 10 of them all together, but I haven't done these pieces, but I will do one each of the flowers with you. Right, so I'm going to do this piece first, and what you need to do is you need to mark on this side 6 inches, and on this side you need to mark 3 inches, and if I have my camera positioned properly, you can see where I am lining this up on my grid paper just here. So I'm going to measure 6 inches there, just a little pencil mark. I'm going to come over this side, and you can still see me, I hope, on the screen, and I'm going to make a measurement at 3 inches, which is that one there. And now I am going to bring my scoreboard up. You can use your trimmer if you do your scoring with that. Right, okay. You're not going to see the whole bit of my scoreboard, but you'll know what I'm doing. Let me just go over my piece with some wax paper, just to make sure my score tool slides over it nicely. So I'm going to score at 2 inches, oops, too easily, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches and 10 inches. Right, I'm just going to turn that over, and where I've gone off the track I am just pushing it back down again. It will still show through, but it's not quite as obvious. Right, so that's that piece done. Then you will need your trimmer. And what you need to do with this is, well, you've got that. In fact, let me see if I can do this sideways. Will this all fit in sideways? Right, okay. On a wing and a prayer here, so that you can see top and bottom, what I need to do is I need to line up my 6-inch pencil mark here into this cutting groove, and then I need my 3-inch mark to line up in the cutting groove down here. So let me see, you don't need to see all of the trimmer as long as you can see this bit here. Right, wasn't really clever to use such a dark colour, was it? Right, it's there. Now you will need to go over these bits here, top or bottom, depends how you position your paper. There we go. But you will get the whole length in. So there's that one there. That's it. And where's this one gone? That's just there. Okay, so that's in and that's in. So don't let it move. Right, and now I am going to cut that. Okay, so you'll finish up with 2 pieces the same. Okay, mine's a tad. Oh no, it isn't. That's about the same. So that's all you're going to need your trimmer for. Now you need a ruler. And no, first of all we're going to use this bit first. This is so much easier than rulers. Right, so this one here, you've got to measure it up at 3 inches. Again, another pencil mark. And this one, measure at 1.5. Just put little pencil marks there. And then do the other piece exactly the same. 3 inches on the tall side. And then a pencil mark on the 1.5 inch mark on this side. Right, now you need your ruler, and what you need to do is line your ruler up with this one, the 3 inch mark, and your 1.5 inch mark. Right, I can see that one nice and easily. Let me draw a darker line here. I'm sure it won't be seen anyway. So that's lining up with that one. That's lining up with that one. Now all you need to do here is draw a little line on the 2 outside score lines, just so your line goes across the score line and the middle score line. Just the 3, okay? So it's the first one, the third one and the last one. Now you need to do that to the other one as well. So line up that one, that's nice and clear, and that one's nice and clear as well. And again, just make a little line across the score line of the 2 outside ones, so that's first and last, and then across the middle one. You don't want anything on these 2 here. Leave those 2 alone. Now, with your 2 pieces like that, we are going to work on the bottom one, and you need your straight line here. Okay, straight line nearest to you. What you're going to do is you're going to cut up on those 3 score lines that we've got pencil marks, and you're going to cut up as far as that pencil mark. Okay, now when you're cutting in the score mark, cut right in the groove. You could do this with your trimmer if you wanted to, but I think it's okay to do it freehand. There's that one, this one, right in the groove and straight up to the pencil mark, and then on this one. Now with the second piece, I want you to turn it round the other way. Okay, so now you've got the slanted piece towards you. And with the slanted piece towards you, I want you to cut up those 3 again. So in the groove, up to your pencil mark. But make sure this time you've got your slanted piece towards you. Okay, so this one you did it on your straight side, this one on your slanted side. And the reason is this one is going to slot into the one below, that way. This one. Right. Now, before we go any further with these, we're going to do our designer series paper. Now, I'm going to work on this side because it's a lot easier to see pencil marks. In fact, talking pencil marks, let's just remove these. So you should have 3 at the top of all your cut lines and 1 each on either side, and you should have that on both of them. So that's 1 done. Right, pop those out of the way. Right, I need to check my notes. Did I write this down? Yes, I did. Right, okay. Now what we're going to do here is, again, using our grid paper to mark this, you want to put a pencil mark at 5 7/8. And on this side you want to put it at 2 7/8. And because we don't have the eighths marked over there, what I'm going to suggest you do, and I hope this doesn't cause confusion, I want you to turn your paper round 180 degrees, so you've got your pencil mark down here. So if you put your paper here again, then measure again at 5 7/8, because what will happen is where you've got 5 7/8 here, in fact that it looked a long way, 5 7/8, that's 2 7/8, and you add the two together and it's 8 3/4, and that's what we want on the other side. but obviously we want it diagonal. So that's 5 7/8 again. Alright, I hope I haven't confused you there. So there and there. If you were doing it with your ruler, I would be saying draw your line at 5 7/8, just to show that this does work out. Okay, so I'd be drawing my pencil line there. Then I'd say at this end, draw it at 2 7/8, which is what I've done here. Okay, so that's 5 7/8, that's 5 7/8, that's 2 7/8, that's 2 7/8. That's fine, that's what we need. Right, now your trimmer again, and we are going to do exactly what we did before. We're going to put our designer series paper in, and we are going to cut from that one to that one. Right, so that's my 5 7/8, and that's my 2 7/8. Am I still in screen? Yep, that's good. Okay, let's get that one up over the ledge. It's not very easy to turn it otherwise. There we go. Now, oops, without letting it move, right, hold that really tight. Oh, I didn't press hard enough. Oh, okay. Now, you still need your trimmer. This time I'm going to do it from this point because you can see what I'm going to be doing. Putting your cardstock like your design series paper like that, with the straight line up at the top. Line it up at 1 7/8 and then cut it. Move it along 1 7/8 and cut it. Make sure all the time that your paper is resting against the top there. So 1 7/8, slice it. 1 7/8, and you should finish up with 6 pieces and a little bit left over. There we go, just that little bit left, and we've got the 6. Right, now we're going to do the same. We're going to have our piece of DSP upside down, nice straight edge up along the top there. We're going to line it 1 7/8 and slice it. Now you might find it easier just to keep the two correct sizes together, like that. Oh, I've got a pencil mark there that I forgot to remove. Oh, I think that was the one I told you to do, wasn't it? Okay, right, 1 7/8. Which will be that one. Yes. 1 7/8. 1 7/8, and you get that little piece left over. Now I found this really confusing once I got to this stage. So what I did was I made myself another template. This was one of my, well, I didn't actually make it for this, but I used this one. This was the very first one that I did, and it was smaller than the one that I wanted to do. That was my size, and that's what size this was. I just found there was too much of a gap in the envelope for this. Okay, unless of course you wanted to do fancy bits up there, but I didn't. So what I did was, I don't know if you can see, but I went and I marked all the ones I can see. I marked them with a 0. So what I can do now is I can separate this, now this is a template that I will be keeping. So I know that I need designer series paper on those two, those two, those two, those two, and those. Okay, does make life a lot easier. So what we'll do, we start off with one piece. Now this is the piece, let's put it around that way, I find it easier to work. And this is the one with the cuts at the bottom, so that's this one. Right, so I need my designer series paper on these two. So because I've kept these in order over here, I need the 3rd and 4th sizes, which should, 3rd and 4th, yep, that's right. That's 1, 2, so that should be that one. And, nope, not that one. What are you doing? That one. I haven't done it wrong. There we go. Okay, so those are going to go on there. Right, and then, right, let's do it as we go. I'm not convinced I haven't made a mistake here, so bear with me. I'm using Tombow. What am I doing? It's that one I need it on. That's my guide. No wonder it wasn't working. I was doing it on that one, and that's the one that's too small for me. That's right, that's better. Now I've messed myself up totally. Right, there we go. That's it. Now, when you're doing this, if you find that you've cut maybe slightly in the wrong place, and you've got a bigger, like this, bigger gap down the bottom here, and should be up there, make sure that you've got the right gap up at the top, because nobody's really going to be seeing the bottom. Right, let's put these on first. Okay, so because this is the first one, I don't really know what the gap should be, so I'm just doing it so that the gap looks nice with the gap that I have on either side. Let's try and get it straight though. Right, now that's the one that's I'm going to follow the lead of. Right, so I'm going to make sure that it just follows up nicely from that one. Right, so that was a straight with the cuts at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over that way, turn it over that way, and now I'm going to do these and I suspect what I'll do, I'm going to put all these in the size order that they are. So those two I've already done. Okay, they were the ones on the other side. Okay, so I've got them all in order now. So I want 1 and 2. So if I take 1 and 2, they're not going to work. Okay, so this is why you have to flip them over, which is how come I got the 2 designs over there. Now, one of the things I don't like about using a trimmer is you get one side which has like a bump on the cut side. As the blade pushes down, obviously it pushes the paper down, but if you just run over it with your bone folder like that, it smooths it down beautifully and nobody would ever know. Right, so let's stick these on. Funnily enough, you don't seem to get that kind of a raised bit on the cardstock, or at least I haven't, because I would have flattened that had it been noticeable. Okay, so that. Now that's coming up quite a bit shorter from the other one, but it's hardly going to notice. So now I'm going to do these two. Okay, so that's the largest two. So those two I've just done now. So I want 1 each of the largest ones, and presumably that's going to go like that. Yeah. Oh well, there you go, there's the result. I think these 2 designs are going to look brilliant together. I'm stupid if they don't, but I'm sure they will. There's the only thing you need to take into account when you're choosing which designer series paper you're using, just to make sure that the 2 patterns blend in nicely together. I mean, they have been designed to go together, colours and everything like that, but for this exercise you may decide maybe design on one side is possibly too big, the images are just too big, whereas the ones that I've chosen are nondescript, they're mottled. Okay, there are stripes, but they're not what I call harsh stripes, they're really nice and soft. Okay, so there's that one done. So that's that sheet. I'm going to bring this one in now, which is this sheet. So that's the diagonal with the cuts up there. Diagonal with my cuts up there. So now I need it on these first 2. So they're the largest 2, which is these. So that's going to be the light colour design. Is that one? And that one. And then these 2 little ones, that's these 2. So that's going to be those. My mind is working on why am I finishing up with bigger gaps at the bottom. of some of these, and I do wonder if maybe I ought to cut the 1 7/8 and then cut an 1/8 off before I do the next 1 7/8. But it's a bit too technical for me. Right, so I'm going to turn this one over, and it's a 2 in the centre. 2 in the centre. So I'm going to have to turn these over now. There we go. So just flatten the edges down. Come back. Oops. Oh. What am I going to do about that? Silly person. That one's going to go on all right, but that one's not. Can I attach this afterwards? Possibly. Can I get that glue off? Right. Quandary. What am I going to do? Think about that. Oh, what's this? Yeah, but that would go the wrong way, wouldn't it? My lines are going the wrong way. But it would look silly, wouldn't it? I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to leave it for the time being while I'm thinking. Right, just imagine that I've done that correctly. Put those out of the way. Now we need to fold. Oh, we didn't actually do that one. That's really knocked my concentration now. So let's put this one on. Right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly cut another piece. Let me see. Tranquil Textures. There's the sheet. I know that it's got to be 1 7/8 inches wide. Let me get my chair back again. Oops. Right. And I want it that way. So 1 7/8. Right, and I've got to try and work with this. What length is that? Let's do it from the 1 inch up to, oh, that, one inch to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Right, and now I've got to measure the slant that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this on there, make sure it's straight, and then with my pencil I'm going to draw down there. So how's that 5 1/4, if that's 5 1/4? Oh, because it was 4 1/4, wasn't it? Because I'd started measuring from 1 inch. Okay, let's take 1 inch off. I think this has got to be my biggest blooper. Right, so now I'm going to go from there to there. So what have you learnt from this? Not how to correct a big blooper like this, but pay more attention. Right, that should fit on. Bit short, but that's fine. It's not going to notice. Well, sorry about that. With my tweezers. There must be a pair out here somewhere. Oh my goodness, they're both out here somewhere. There they are. My goodness, that's very short. Right, now we need to fold these over and score our lines. And when you do it, make sure as you fold this over, you're lining up with the line over there. That's okay, so do both pieces like that. Okay, so that's that one done. Now do this one. And again, make sure you're lining up straight on the straight edge. Now we just need to slide the card together and decorate it. So what you need to do is fold it so you've got your decorated piece at the top, like that. And I'm not sure that should have worked out like that. Fold this one as well. So you've got the decorated piece up at the top. And you should have them like that. Okay? So you've got the 2 points going up there. And that is how you need to slot them together. So where you've got this piece open here, it's got to slot into this top one here. Okay, so that goes like that. And it should line up perfectly there. If you find that one piece is standing out more than the other, it means you haven't cut one of them far enough. Once you've done that one, then you need to slide this second one over this second one. And again, that should come up. That lines up, and then the last one. So once you've got them all like that, what you need to do is with the front one, pull it out like that, and then open up the next one, so that opens, okay, and then you've got the flat one at the back and a flat one at the front, okay, and then you've got all your designs. I didn't think that was going to work, but my goodness, I love that. What beautiful colours. Okay, so you've got those three colours down that side. and you got those 3 colours down that side, or 4 actually, could count that one. Got 4 counting that one as well. Oh well, am I pleased? You bet. Right, okay, let's start doing some decorating. You need 10 of these, which as you can see I've already done. I'm going to do one with you. Right, let me just get these over. And that's for the sentiments. Right, stamp set I am using is called Time for Tea. I'm going to use that and that with 2-step stamping, that and that. I'm not using these sentiments. I have gone for another stamp set for that. And this has the Time for Tea stamp set has a set of dies which is called Spot of Tea. Now on this one, this here has come from a different set of dies. It's that one there that I've used, and this is from Stitched Labels, which again has a stamp set that goes with it, stitched all round, and that is that die there. But as this is a video, I'm trying to stick to just one stamp set. But as I say, I've got to go to another one because I don't want the those sentiments. So for the Stitched Labels, the stamp set that goes with that is stitched all round, and I'm using Enjoy Your Special Day, which fortunately is also going to fit in to this die here. So apart from the sentiment, everything is coming from one bundle. Right, and the nice thing about this set is with the 2 pieces I'm using, there's 2 dies for the leafy bits and 2 dies for the flowers as well, and I'm going to use that one as well. So let's do this one first. I'm only going to do 1 of each, but you just imagine that there were 2, that I was doing 2 of them. I'm using black StazOn for this, she says, wiping her finger straight in it. Okay, so that's that. So you need 10 of those, and then the flower, you also want 10 of these. On this one you can get 2 on one sheet. And the piece that I use as my focal point on this stamp, oh, I didn't do that very well anyway, is, have I got my paper piercer here? Yep. Let me see what you can see. Right, okay. My focal point on this is that little bit that sticks out there. Okay, so that's what I look at when I'm trying to line up the dies to cut it the right way. Now I want to colour them. So for the colour, the leaves, I'm using Granny Apple Green. And these, I have to say, are very, very easy to line up. I think you can see quite well actually as I'm going down, can't you? Bearing in mind that I'm slightly at an angle here, but even so, so easy to line up. Absolutely superb. So there's that one, and then for the flowers I'm using powder pink, and again this is a nice easy one, but again what I'm looking to line up is that bit that's poking out from the side there. I think you can see it quite easily from there as well. It's pointing up the up north. So, okay, so it's round here on my one. So if I turn it around like that, and then line up. So easy. And the one bit of stamping that I do need is for the sentiment, which I have not done ahead of time, and I'm using Tranquil Tide ink. I just need to get this in the centre. A bit tight on my paper again. There we go. Upside down, but we don't worry about that. Oh, that's plenty big enough. Right, okay, so I'm going to bring my Big Shot over to die cut these pieces. Let's move those out of the way. Right, so first of all, this one. So place that in the centre. I only sort of roughly checked whether this was going to fit in or not. Right, so the cutting edge is on the outside of the die, apart from the actual pierced hole. So as long as I can't see anything through the holes, then I'm good to go. Move that around slightly. Yep, that should be fine. Now with this, let's pull it down a bit. There we go. And then imagine you've got another one there and you line that up to cut that one out. And then the flower. Again, I'm looking for the that's the little bit where you put the bit that's sticking out. Just turn it around that way. Again, bear in mind that I'm looking at this at a bit of an angle. Oops, it's jumping. Right, okay, so let's cut that out. Oh, didn't check that. Make sure I didn't move. Fingers crossed. Oh, there we go. First time I've used that die. I'll clean it up later. The paper is in the holes there. And this one. Okay, so that, whoops, there's that one. And the flower. It's a great idea having the two of these. That wasn't very good, was it? I didn't like that, the way I stamped that one. Right, let me pop these back with the dies. And I put my Big Shot back again. No, I can't because I want two of these, don't I? So let me just quickly take those out. There we go. This is one for the back of the card. So if you wanted another sentiment on it, now would be the time to do it. will leave that till later to clean. Looks like I've got confetti on here now. Right, so all I do with this and this is I use good old Tombow, put glue just in the centre at the back of the flower, because the flower does come over top and bottom, and then I, again with my little bit that sticks out at the side, because I feel that that makes the flower look the right way round, I just pop that on that leaf in the centre and cover it up. And I don't want glue all over it because it's showing top and bottom. Okay, so I've got a spare one of those now. That's that. Right, so whoops, there's another one. What I did was, on the other one I had two of these, like that. So is it going to work on here? I think so. Or do I want them on the side? In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on first, and then the rest of the bits, then I'll decide how I want to do it. Right, by putting this on, it does make it all stay together. You see that one's trying to slide apart. And this is easy to get in the centre because of the bump up there. Although it's not necessarily so, is it? Depends on how you'd put that onto the thing. Oh well, I was lucky. So let's just make sure that they are positioned correctly. Okay, so that's, you can't see anything down the sides there. And I'm going to pop this one on. Now I have the choice to put it in the centre. Now how high, how low, it really doesn't matter. That's your choice. Now on here I could choose, can't I? So I'm definitely going to put those two of them on the back. And I only put glue on the leafy bits. I don't put any more on the flowers. And I'm going to make that flower go into that curve there. Go into it and over and above. And just do the reverse at the bottom. Now that's what I'd like to do, I think, on the front. But I'm going to wait and see what these look like. Now on these, I did them on all of the ones that went up and out. So that's that, that and that, that and that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll do 3 at a time. Okay. So when you're doing this, try not to put your glue too high, like I have just done. Because your embellishment is coming up and over there. Have I got glue coming over? I've got a little bit there, not too much. In fact, let me... That's better. Right, let me show you properly where you should be putting your glue on this. you should be going from these leaves here up to those leaves. You shouldn't be coming on either of these, just in case they go over. I've got to go from the other side now. That's it. Oops. So really the flowers and the leafy bits are doing a double loop, half loop as it goes across the card. Okay, like that. Right, so that's that, and all I need to decide now is these two, which that can go up there. Yes, I'm going to do it like that. Now you can put some more glue on these. Put that one. And that one up there. I am thinking about putting some gems on these, but the jury is out at the moment. So there we go, that's this card. Let me just show you what it looks like opening it. Let's see if you... That's like the standing up position that I can show you best. Beautiful, isn't it? I think these two designs go together really well. The designer series paper, really lovely. So there we go, there's that one. You've seen this one. I want to show you this as well that I've done. I haven't decorated it, but on this one what I did was I took my piece of cardstock that was 9 inches by 12 inches and I stamped on one side, so effectively I got the design on alternate ones on here. I will finish this one off and I will try to, no, it's going to be going on that one, won't it? I will try and get it onto my blog the same day that this is on my blog, which will be the 24th of June 2018, and so you can see what this one looks like as well. Yeah, it's at the back on one half. If you wanted it all at the front, you would need to stamp the design both sides. And one thing about our white ink is when you order it, you order a pad and a bottle of ink, because the pad comes dry and you have to put this onto here. It works really, really well. You just have to remember, because it's a craft ink, it does take a little bit extra time to dry, but it's a lovely thing to use. I love using the white on crumb cake. And if you're thinking maybe you'll just use plain cardstock, the very first one that I decorated, which I'm not pleased with, but I will show you, I really was just playing on this, trying to get a feel of putting decorations on there, but this is just plain cardstock, another retired colour. This is always artichoke, but it does not look nice if you don't do something to the cardstock. I'm sitting here thinking, you know, maybe I could get a very small stamp, possibly with the white ink, and stamp it on, but like that I'm not at all happy with it, and I did something on the back as well. So there you go, that's today's project. I hope you like it, and I hope you decide to give it a try. Let's just stand that one up for you so you can see that. If you have any questions, please leave comment in the box below the video, and I will be more than happy to help you. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, obviously not the retired cardstock that I did on my trial one, but everything here, and also, well, I suppose it's the same as this one, that's all available, and there'll be a link in my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below the video. I'll also put down there all the measurements, the score lines, everything like that, and also the products and the codes. That'll be all in the box below. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. You'll be notified then every time I upload a new video, which is normally Sundays and Wednesdays. And if you've liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.